There is a question almost nobody is ready for in the next PM interview, and PMI just handed us proof of exactly what it is. They rebuilt the PMP exam in July to test AI judgment directly. When a certified body starts testing something, hiring managers are already asking about it. I'm Damon. I'm a working AM program manager with real stakeholders and real skeptics. I also spent 300 plus applications and 11 months landing my first PM role at a top tier bank in Canada. So I know what it feels like wondering if you are behind. Here's the logic for today. Certification bodies don't add exam content casually. It takes years of research and employer input before something gets tested at this scale. So if PMI decided AM judgment belongs on the PMP exam, it already belongs in your interview. This video isn't about passing the exam, it's about the interview question that change just confirmed is coming. And to be clear, this also isn't about learning a new skill or paying for another certification. It's about recognizing a judgment call you are probably already making, and being able to name it out loud when someone asks. Here's what actually changed, quickly. There's no AI session on the exam. AM shows up inside the case scenarios, mixed in with stakeholder pressure and business impact, and the domain carrying most of that weight. Business environment jumped from 8% of the exam to 26%. That's 3 times larger than before. That's the fact. Here's why it matters to you today, whether or not you ever sit this exam. Interviewers ask about what employers actually care about. Employers just told PMI through the research that shaped this rebuild exactly what that is. The exam is downstream of what employers want. Your interview is even more downstream and updates faster than any exam board can. PMI's own research found that only about 20% of project managers report good or extensive practical AI experience. 49% report little or none. That gap isn't just an exam problem. It's an interview problem happening in hiring rooms this week, and it's only getting less optional. 82% of senior leaders expect AI to change how projects are run within 5 years. Here's the part that actually helps you. A study of 1,800 workers found that when managers model AI use out loud, critical thinking about AI went up by 22%. Judgment isn't something you either have or don't, you build it by practicing. And right now, almost none of the competition has. Now, before this starts to feel like one more thing you were behind on, here's the part that should make you feel better, not worse. If you've ever caught a wrong number in someone else's spreadsheet before it reached your director, or decided not to trust a vendor's estimate until you check it yourself, you've already made the exact call. You just never had to call it AI judgment, because there was no AI in the room yet. The skill isn't new. The situation is, that's actually good news. It means you are not starting from zero here. So here's what this judgment actually looks like. In the interview, not on a test. Picture the exact kind of situation the exam is now built around, because it's the same one interviewers ask about. A project is behind. Someone on your team used an AI tool to generate a revised schedule and a resourcing plan. Nobody's asking whether you know how to use that tool. What matters is what you do next. Do you approve the plan because it looks clean and confident? Do you check it against what you actually know about your resources and your risks? Do you name where a human still has to be accountable even if the tool did the drafting? Most people freeze here, because nothing in their prep trained them to think about it. Here's the pattern nobody's teaching yet, and it's the pattern this whole video is really about. Read the situation, understand the business goal and who it affects. Check the output against what you actually know, your data, your constraints, your team. Decide what AI gets to assist with and what stays a human call, and keep someone accountable for the final decision every time. That last part is where almost everyone loses points. There was a meta-analysis, over 100 experiments, that found human and AI combinations actually perform worse than the best human or the best AI working alone. In a lot of cases. Adding AI doesn't automatically make a decision better. Sometimes it makes it worse. And this is exactly the judgment an interviewer is now trained to prompt for. Here's what that actually sounds like out loud. In 3 sentences, I used an AI tool to draft a first pass of a vendor risk summary. I checked every number against the actual contract before it went to my director. and it had invented a liability cap figure that wasn't anywhere in the contract, stated as a flag fact. So that stayed a mutual check going forward. Task, check, limit. That's the whole shape of a strong answer. And it's built from something you already did, not something you need to go build. You can already see the bigger version of this problem playing out publicly. A television company used an AI assistant to complete weekly status updates across more than 20 project teams. That took a 3-hour reporting job down to about 5 minutes. That's a real number, and it's the kind of result that gets attention in the interview. But cutting the reporting time was never the hard part. The hard part was the part almost nobody ready to talk about. It's still deciding what goes into that report and who signs off on it before leadership sees it. That's the story worth telling when someone asks you how you've used AI in your work. If that last part ended, that this is really about the interview, not the exam, I want to give you something. I put together a free guide called the AI in PM Interview Answer Bank. It walks through the actual AI questions showing up in PM interviews loops right now, with weak answers next to strong ones, so you can hear the difference. Link is in the description, grab it, it takes 2 minutes to read. If you are still with me, I want to go deep on one word from a minute ago, check, because that's the part everyone waves their hands at, and it's worth actually breaking down. There isn't just one way to check an AI output. I'm giving you 3 today, but you don't need all 3 every time. But knowing all 3 means you always have one that fits wherever's in front of you. Let's go through them one at a time. Method number 1. Trace it to source. This is the most direct one. Whatever the AI pull from, a contract, an invoice, a ticket, a policy document, go back to that actual document and confirm the number or the claim matches, word for word. Not close enough. This is the method that catches the AI just making something up. In my vendor risk summary example, this is exactly what caught it. The liability cap figure sounded completely reasonable. It read like it belonged in the contract. It wasn't there. If I hadn't gone back to the actual document, that number would have gone to my director as fact. Use this method whenever the AI is working from a specific document you have access to, and there's no excuse not to check it, because the source is sitting right there. Method number 2, ask it twice, differently. This one is for situations where you don't have one clean source document to trace back to. Maybe it's a summary, an analysis, a recommendation. Run the same task again, but reword the prompt or use a different tool entirely, and compare the 2 answers. If you get the same core answer both times, that's a decent signal of stability. If the numbers shift or the recommendation flips or name changes, that tells you the AI wasn't actually confident. This is the one people skip most, because it takes an extra couple minutes. It's also the one that catches problems the first method can't, because sometimes there's no external document to check against. The inconsistency is the only clue you're going to get. Method number 3, the defend it out loud test. This is less about the AI and more about you. Before anything goes out, read it like you are about to be asked to justify it. In a status meeting, in a stakeholder call, in an interview. If someone asks you right now where that number came from, or why you believe that recommendation, could you actually answer? If the honest answer is no, that's the line. Cut it or go verify it first. This method catches the stuff that's technically plausible, nothing obviously wrong with it, but you never actually checked. You just trusted the tongue. And that's usually the one that gets people in trouble because it doesn't feel risky in the moment. 3 different methods, 3 different failure modes. Trace it to a source catches things that were licked up. Ask it twice captures things that only sound confident. Define it out loud catches the things that you never actually checked at all. You don't need a checklist tab to your monitor. You need to know which one fits what's in front of you. Here's who these 3 methods actually matter for most. Not the people who never open a PMP book. It's the strong candidates. The ones who know the framework's code, who assume that's still enough. In an interview, it isn't anymore. Business environment alone is now worth more than a quarter of the exam. And this same shift is showing up in how interviewers are trained to ask about AI. The other trap is memorizing a slogan instead of reading the judgment. I've already seen PEP material teaching people to just write, always keep a human in the loop on every AI question and call it done. That's not the answer. That's a guess dressed up as an answer, and you force apart the second an interviewer asks you to explain why or what you'll do differently. The candidates who handle this well in a testing room or a hiring room aren't the ones who memorize a rule. They are the ones who can say exactly what they checked, what they decided, and where they know the limit of what the AI gave them. Almost nobody walks in able to do that right now. That's exactly why it's worth being the one who can. So here's what I wanted to take from this one. PMI just told you, in public, exactly what employers now expect a project manager to be able to judge. There is a question on this exam right now that almost nobody sitting it is actually ready for. And the same question is already sitting in your next interview, whether you will ever take the exam or not. But you're not behind because you lack the judgment. You're behind because nobody asked you to name it yet. If you want the interview side of this mapped out, the answer bank is free. The link is in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.